Hello? Hello? Okay, hi. Ito nga pala ulit si Tito Chal. Nakuha ko yung name na I think na-hit ko na yung tamang name ng channel na 'to and then ng commentary na 'to. So, yeah, for now, ang gusto kong maipag-usapan or mapag-usapan natin is something that is very common and very used nowadays. Especially na ano tayo nito dito na tayo papunta eh. I mean, given the development of the world right now, especially that in the millennials' eyes, sa mata namin, that we have experienced the start of technology and then how it grew. Ano yung naging development niya? Actually, very fast-paced pa nga eh. So what I mean is that technically us millennials, we have experienced both the normal, basically the ang experiencing hard work or experiencing life without technology. We have experienced that. Without technology ba talaga? Pwede namang hindi eh. Pwede naman with the help konti ng technology. Pero kumbaga we experience it. Like for example, best example is in schoolwork. Na-experience namin before sa school na every time na magpapagawa ng assignment yung teacher, we are encouraged ba tamang term? Hindi eh. We are taught that we have to find the solution or the answer for assignments in our books. Syempre, sa books, in our books and in the library. Yun yung pinaka basic requirement sa book or sa library. Doon mo hahanapin. So now, for us, mapipilitan ka talagang pumunta ng library, aaralin mo ko yung Dewey Decimal. Dewey Decimal, no? Tama. Basta aaralin mo yung location ng mga books, hahanapin mo yun. Especially that yung category nga, for example, nung isang subject, pupuntahan mo doon, tapos hahanapin mo yung pinaka-topic. And then, understanding table of contents, check out kung saan dyan kaya yung pasok dun sa sa assignment mo. And then yun, mahanap mo yung assignment mo. Now that i-interpret mo pa siya kung ano yung nasa book, then yun yung i-answer mo dun sa assignment mo. For some din, we are required to check on magazines or other literatures basically. So mano-mano siya, literal siyang mano-mano. Wala siyang search button na literal na itatype mo lang and then mahanap mo na yung hinahanap mo. Hindi ganon. So, mapipilitan kang pumunta ng library and check one by one all the books that relates dun sa assignment mo. Now, in this situation, in this current age naman, medyo nagiging obsolete yung library. Kasi, we just simply type something in the internet or in a search engine and then yun lalabas na yung tanong sa yung sagot sa tanong mo. So mabilis na siya, napakabilis na. So yun yung current ngayon. Tapos may na-introduce pang bago, hindi lang search engine but na-introduce pa ngayon si artificial intelligence, si AI. So, ang isa sa pinakasikat na AI is si ChatGPT, and for Microsoft si Copilot, for Google si Gemini. So, yan, may mga AIs na ngayon na ang galing kasi parang tinuruan nila yung technology or they created a set of program in the AI wherein pwede mo siyang kausapin na parang tao. Literal na it will find your context, understand the context of your your question, and then sasagutin niya fluidly pa. Na yun nga, parang kumakausap ka lang sa tao. And at the same time, you can have a continuous discussion sa AI. Yun yung nakakastig. Now, what I want to talk about right now is ano ba ang effect, ano ba ang POV ko as a millennial tito, as your tito nga. Ano yung POV ko sa mga AI na to? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Does it hinder development, or does it fast track pa nga yung development? So, ang good thing dito, no, kasi yun yung kagandahan ni AI. The moment that I thought about this topic, nag-type lang ako sa kanya na gawan niya ako ng parang outline for the topic. Yan, ginawan niya ako. So ito, ipakita ko lang yung yung sinearch ko. So ito, I'm using Copilot, and then sinearch ko lang na create an outline commentary about AI point of view of a millennial. Yan lang yung tinype ko. Tapos yan, ginawan niya na ako ng outline ng dapat kong pag-usapan. So yung yung binasa ko kanina, ito yun, hook. From Tamagotchis to ChatGPT daw. Okay. Let's type, what is a Tamagotchi? Gusto ko rin ma-refresh yung memory ko kasi baka mamaya mali yung masabi ko eh. What is Tamagotchis? Yeah. Tamagotchis are handheld digital pets. Naalala ko noon na sikat ka sa sa school mo pag may Tamagotchi ka. Ano lang siya parang maliit na toy na may pet doon sa loob tapos papakainin mo. Meron din naging game to sa cellphone nakalimutan ko yung pangalan. Parang ganito din. Basically yun, papakainin mo lang yung yung pet mo. Yun lang talaga ang point. Online, siya, digital pet siya. Which is nakakatuwa siya noon. I don't know now kung maganda pa din siya. Pero yun yung Tamagotchi. Meaning, ito lang ang point ng hook. From Tamagotchis to ChatGPT. Nung bata kami, yung lang talaga, yung basically the nearest program that we could say na AI is the Tamagotchi. Kasi siya nga digital pet nga siya di ba? So, si Tamagotchi kasi nagugutom yun, papakainin, nadudumihan, lilinisin mo din siya, parang gano'n. So yan, sikat ka noon pag kami ganito ka. Sa amin dati, yung mga toys lang naman is, yung, nung lumabas yung mga cellphone na colored, pero before nga, kahit kung hindi pa nga colored, yung, games namin are the Snake sa phone, Game Boy, pero yung old pa, yung hindi color, yung first na Game Boy. And then, mga toys talaga. So, kumaga, ang pinakamalapit sa AI is si Tamagotchi nga. Tama, Tamagotchi. So, how did we get here daw? How did we get here? Sabi dito, next topic, growing up tech savvy, early exposure to tech, Windows 95, Nokia phone, Friendster, Yahoo Messenger. Nako, napaka-nostalgic ng mga terminologies na to. Naalala nyo dati, Windows 95, may hindi lang Windows 95, yung nakalimutan ko yung parang yung namin, yung monitor namin, yung malaki siya, tapos yung uso na table or computer table, yung yung mismong monitor parang naka-atras tapos naka-slanted pa likod. Para yung POV mo sa screen is pababa. Parang gano'n. May gano'n. Tapos ang nakakatuwa sa itsura nun, basically may parang frame siya, doon may ilalagay yung yung screen. And then malaki yung keyboard, and then yung mouse, hindi kita yung mouse pad. Yung mouse, may bola sa loob. Dati, ginagawa ko, binubuksan ko yun, tapos tinatanggal ko yung bola. Kasi parang mabigat siya na dense siya na ball. Kasi maganda lang, sarap na laruin. So yun, Windows 95, Nokia phone. Yun, usong-uso talaga yung Nokia phone. Sikat ka kapag high-end na Nokia phone yung mabibili mo. After nung Nokia kasi lumabas yung mga Sony Ericsson, mga BlackBerry. Pero yan, Nokia pa din yung OG. OG siya. Tapos Friendster, if hindi nyo pa na or for those na mga bata na hindi alam yung Friendster, basically it's the first social media. Hindi pala first kasi may iba pa eh. Pero one of the first social medias na kaming mga millennial, ito yung ginagamit namin. Tapos ang astig dito sa Friendster, kasi slightly lang, parang nag-ano ka na matututo kang mag-code. Kasi ang pagandahan nung pagandahan nung profile. So maghahanap ka ngayon ng themes sa online and then i-copy mo, i-embed mo yung code nun, tapos ilalagay mo dun sa profile mo. Tapos pwede mong dagdagan ng mga widgets, yung mga dagdagan ng mga chat room or etc. yung Friendster mo. So maghahanap ka ulit ng code para doon. May mga ganun. So matututo kang mag-code. Pero slight lang naman. Copy-paste lang din eh. Matututo kang mag-code and then yan yung Friendster, yung mga testimonials, ganun. Tapos sa Yahoo Messenger naman, ano bang Yahoo Messenger? One of the OG chat programs or chat applications. Kami nung high school, especially nung asawa ko. Dito kami nagcha-chat sa Yahoo Messenger. Tapos tingpa nun kasi may buzz. Siya, yung parang button siya na yayanig yung chat box nyo pagka pinindutong nung ka-chat mo. Ayan, may Yahoo Messenger. Transition daw to modern tech, smartphone, social media streaming. Yeah. Facebook started in 2009. Tama ba? Kasi ako, kung titignan ko yung Facebook ko, I started in 2009 eh. So yeah, 2009. So I think I started Friendster in 2006. Kasi tanda ko pa, nagpatulong ako sa isang classmate ko na gumawa nung account ko nun. So yun, may Friendster, tapos Facebook, smartphone, social media, streaming. How this shaped our adaptability and skepticism toward new tech. Yeah. Ang good thing kasi sa millennials, yun nga, we experience the growth of tech. So, we understand na, kunyari, why is it na ganito yung setup ng YouTube ngayon? Because before, medyo magulo siya, so inayos siya or dinevelop siya ng programmers or ng developers into what it is right now, parang ganon. Also in the phones from Apple, yung Apple na phone, yung pinakauna, o kaya naman yung Samsung, dati bulky siya, na maliit. Ngayon, ang laki-laki na ng screen. Tanda ko pa dati, I had my first touchscreen phone ng Nokia, na may may stylus pa. May stylus pa siya. Ang difference kasi ng na gine-revolutionize ng Apple is yung touchscreen is finger kumbaga mas nagre-react siya using your fingers only. Dati yung mga touchscreens need siya ng ng stylus kasi pressure yung kailangan gawin eh. Parang buttons pa din. Pero parang touchscreen nga kasi basically you're using the screen to navigate your phone pero you have to apply pressure para gumalaw siya. From that, then dinevelop nga ni Apple to finger used na lang yung screen to what we have right now. So yun, na experience nga namin yung growth ng technology. Even nga yung mga laptops dati yung laptops ng kapal. Napakakapal. So, ngayon, puro manipis na kasi nga may development din sa mga microchips. Mas kayang panipisin dahil mas lumiliit yung mga processors niya. So, we have experienced those things. So, kumbaga, basically you can't tell a millennial na hindi niya alam yung mga ganyan kasi technically we experienced it firsthand. Pero again, I'm not saying every millennial kasi some of us doesn't dwell more much pala in technology. So yeah, for those lang na na mahilig sa ganun. Next dito na nilagay niya, the rise of AI, fascination and fear. First impression of AI, sci-fi movies like The Matrix and iRobot. Yeah. Ang ang ginawa nila, parang yung sineset up ng mga ng Hollywood industry or ng mga movies is that they tend to create stories wherein ang AI would eventually take over humanity. Which is, kung iisipin mo for forward thinkers, kung iisipin mo, if ever this is how smart an AI is, to a point na kaya niyang kaya niyang mag-isip ng sarili niya. So, there is actually a possibility of that. Diba? Hindi siya pwedeng hindi mo i-consider. So, kaya, like for example, kay iRobot, ito yung movie ni Will Smith, diba? That they instilled certain rules for robots to follow. Wherein one of those rules is that robots should not harm humans. Parang ganun yung yung pinaka-rule. Kumbaga, they created ultimate rules for the AIs. Sa The Matrix naman, ang pagkakatanda ko sa movie na to, wherein AI already took over the world. Sorry, baka mali yung pero that's how I remember it. Tagal ko na rin hindi napanood kasi ulit yung Matrix. Real world AI today, ChatGPT, Siri, recommendation algorithm, self-driving cars. Honestly, for me, ang laki ng tulong ni AI. Kasi, ang bilis nung response niya. And then, you don't need to kunyari, you're searching for information. Siya na mismo yung magsa-summarize, siya na mismo yung mag-outline. Katulad nitong ginawa ko. Siya na mismo mag-outline nung gusto mong malaman. Yan yung advantage niya. Now, the disadvantage for me, in point of view, kasi we're talking about fascination and fear, I think the disadvantage is that if ever for the young generation that grew up in this time wherein AI na talaga kaagad yung nakita nila or they're experiencing right now. I think one downside is that baka maging maging tamad. Ito naman baka baka it's a hot take, no. Pero ang downside kasi, especially for me, I once taught college students. And apparently, if ever you're setting assignments or papagawa ka ng mga activities, if ever there is an AI wherein literal na you just type the activity that you want to do and then siya na yung magge-generate, yun yung downside niya. Kasi it will give an impression for the young ones na hindi ko naman kailangan mag-effort to do the assignment or to do the project because I can just simply type in a prompt to AI. Basically, a prompt is something is somewhat an instruction to the AI to do whatever output you want to do or you want to have. So, yun, magpa-prompt na sila, tatype na sila ng prompt and then may output na. So, ang downside niya is that possibly magiging tamad yung students. At the same time, the good thing about it is that macha-challenge ngayon yung mga teachers to create new projects, new assignments that kumbaga pwede niya hindi overpower ang tamang term pwede niyang ma-bypass, tama. Pwede niyang ma-bypass yung AI at mapilitan yung estudyante na mag-isip, na maghanap ng solusyon sa pinapagawa mo. Wherein, AI could help, but it has to have a personal touch from the student. Yun yung challenge for the teachers right now. Which is struggling, honestly, struggling siya. And problematic siya. Kasi, first of all, not all teachers understand AI. You can't just simply say that teachers, ito, aralin nyo AI. After 1 month, dapat alam nyo na. Hindi pwede. Kasi hindi naman pare-parehas yung hindi naman pare-parehas yung capacity ng teachers to understand AI. So, that's siguro we're just simply in the time or in the timeline wherein we are just developing or adapting. We're just adapting in this situation. So, good thing, mapapabilis na yung yung search mo, mapapabilis yung outputs mo. The downside is there's a possibility na tatama rin yung mga estudyante because, ayun nga, one type away lang, may sagot na. Now, for me, what I do, kasi I think this is for now this is the effective way of setting assignments, then at the same time ma-check kung intindihan ba talaga ng estudyante yung hinanap niya or yung ginamitan niya ng AI is to set ang tawag nito, verbal discussions. Hindi lang type kasi may discussion kasi na via chat lang pero verbal talaga na face to face. That's how you eliminate the AI side of it or the technology side para mapilitan yung students to really understand or really learn from the assignment that you're trying to or the assignment that you gave them. Diba? So, ang problem naman dyan, medyo mabigat gawin. Nakakapagod siya. Especially you have say 100 students. Sipin mo yun. So, 100 students, tapos may verbal discussion ka per each student. So, nakakapagod siya. Nakakapagod. Pero that's, I think, one of the ways. I'm not saying yan lang ang way, but I think that's one of the ways that we as teachers can bypass AI. And yun nga, mapilitan yung mga students na aralin nga yung assignment nila. Pero again, students, aralin yung assignments nyo. The point of the assignments is for you to personally learn or kumbaga ikaw mismo yung mapilitan na intindihin yung topic. Kasi ang challenge, medyo lumalayo na ako sa topic, no? Kasi frustrated Pero the challenge kasi is that how do we as teachers engage the students to really learn from the topic? One thing that would help is to let the students absorb it. Yun yung pagkakaintindi ko. So yeah, kanya-kanyang diskarte din naman Pero anyway, back to AI. Yeah, it will meron siyang fascination, meron siyang ang positive outputs, but yeah, may mga negative talaga. Yun nga, baka tama rin yung mga wala nang effort ba. Next, AI in everyday life. How millennials use AI? Productivity tools, smart homes, content creation, and And honestly, pinaka-helpful kay AI is the productivity. Productivity talaga. Especially for repetitive work. If ever you know how to code, to set up steps to set up processes. If ever you know how to use AI, mapapabilis na yung productivity mo. One best example is Microsoft's Power Automate. Sa Power Automate kasi, basically, you just have to set up files linked in your cloud and then siya na mismo yung yung mag-execute ng processes na paulit-ulit. I think ChatGPT has that option as well. I don't know about Gemini, pero merong mga programs or may mga AIs na gano'n na basically just have to set up available or accessible cloud files, accessible programs in the cloud wherein you will just have to set up instructions kung anong gagawin ni AI dun sa program or sa files na yon. And then it will just generate the final output that you're looking for. Yun yung kagandahan niya ni AI for productivity. So if ever you have a business that you'll need data na regularly ina-update or regularly nilalagyan ng data. So using AI, you can have the output in a matter of minutes lang. Kaya niyang gawin yon. That's one of the best option or part of productivity in AI. So I hope na most probably kasi mangyayari nito after say 5 to 10 years, most of the businesses would be adapting to AI. So for those na mga business owners, I think you have to learn about AI kasi it will define the business field or the technology in the near future. Okay? Career and creativity in the age of AI. Wait, balik ako doon. May nabasa kasi ako AI in everyday life, benefits, convenience. Yun yung sinabi ko kanina. And then ang dito, ito ang pinakamasakit. Misinformation. Ito talaga ang pinaka masama. Pinaka-ekis for me din in AI. Apparently, if ever for those na who doesn't learn about AI, you are prone to misinformation talaga. Very prone. Good thing for me kasi I have a background in digital arts din. Wherein, hindi naman digital arts talaga, pero I know how to use Photoshop. I know how to use the digital programs such as Adobe, Master programs. I think yung mga Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe InDesign, I know how to use those programs. So, in the previous or before AI, editing or creating digital arts is very tedious. Matrabaho siya. Matrabaho. So, kumbaga, I learned or had a keen eye on determining which photo or which digital art is edited or kumbaga finabricate or hindi, especially sa photos because I've been doing photography before. So before, without AI, I can determine photos that are fabricated, edited, kumbaga pinalitan talaga para maging iba. So yeah, I can do that. Now, the problem is here in AI, ipasok mo si AI they can create seamless outputs. Best example is Google's Veo 3. Astig talaga nung output niya. Basically, you can just type in a prompt and then ang output niya very realistic videos. Grabe. Ganun siya ka-astig. Now, the problem in that topic is that very prone for misinformation. Very prone talaga. The bad side is like for example in politics. Sabi ko sa previous video, ayaw kong pag-usapan ng politics pero hindi kasi maiwasan One of the downside here is that sa politics kasi nauso yung mga Facebook farm or mga farm ang term ko pero parang mga alagad mong magbabash. Kalimutan ko yung term. Na basically they're hiring people to bash or create misinformation fake news to every post or comment in every post of an enemy talaga. kontrapartido na politician. Not only in politics, even in uh, in the entertainment industry, parang ganun din eh. So, may mga may mga pool of people to comment. And then basically siraan yung kalaban nila. Now, in AI kasi, mas lumala yung ganun na scenario. Kasi they can create fake videos, fake photos to fabricate a story. So, yun yung pinaka-downside niya. Pero think about this. Sorry. Think about this. Basically, even before, without AI, you can do that. Ang problem lang is, mas mahirap siyang gawin. Ang downside din talaga ngayon is mas mabilis mo itong gawin. Mas mabilis talaga. So, very downside ng AI, which is again, kung iisipin mo ulit, it's not the AI's problem eh. Hindi si AI ang problem. Ang problem is yung mga tao na gumagawa nito or ma-maximize or kumbaga, they're using this for their intentions. Bad intentions. So ang question na lang there, the ethics side of it, is the AI the problem or the people who are using it? Diba? So, yeah. Punta tayo sa next topic, career and creativity in the age of AI. Yeah. As a person na hindi naman ako creative pero a fan or hirap pag Tagalog. Sumusubaybay sa art scene, especially sa digital art. Ang downside kasi parang na-overpower ni AI yung personal or yung human outputs. Na-overpower niya. Because again, due to the automation part of it. Like for example, gawa ka nga ng digital art. Tulad nito sa akin, I created my logos, I created my banners using AI. Pero dati, without AI, you needed to hire art people or those who knows how to create logos to create that professionally. Ngayon, magta-type ka na lang ng prompt mo sa AI and then yun, meron na. So that's the problem. That's the downside of AI. It crushes creativity, it crushes opportunities as well. Now, ang na lang dyan, I think my take on that is, do we back down as humans? Do we back down sa kakayanan ng AI? Or do we step up? We step up our creativity. Kasi apparently for me, ako personally, I still love the human outputs. Iba ang dating ng human output than the AI output. Ibang-iba. Malalaman mo I think you have a keen, especially if you have a keen eye on looking at digital art. Ibang-iba ang output ng AI or digital lang man yung paggawa versus sa human. Meron siyang mga may mga detail, may mga keen details dyan na hindi kayang i-replicate ng AI. Although, again, as I've said, developing kasi ito si AI Most probably in the future, meron talagang part of it na kayang i-copy na ni AI. So, I guess the creative scene, the creativity has or have to shift. Ang mga tao naman kasi very creative naman we can work around any situation. And one thing about art is you are breaking boundaries, you're breaking rules. Yun yung kumbaga, one thing that stands out in artsy people or creative people, they tend to break rules, they tend to break standards to stand out. Kasi I think that's one requirement as a creative. to stand out is you have to break the rules or break the standard. Break the norm, kumbaga. Yun, I guess that's a challenge for us humans. Hirap, no? Pang pangit, no? Challenge for us humans. Next time siguro, no, meron ng ano. Pero anyway, let's go back. I go next to the topic. Ethical social reflections, AI and mental health, dopamine loop, social media algorithms, data privacy. Yeah, the problem in AI or the ethical side of AI is data privacy is or security, data security is, I don't know lang if we have to question the data security. Kasi basically, ang ginagawa kasi ng AI is it will find or generate outputs based on the information that we are sharing. We are sharing to the internet. Yun yung pinaka-point ni, library ni AI. The data itself that we share in the internet. Yun yung pinaka-library niya. So, in the ethical sense, at what point, kung tatanungin mo sa ethics and the security, at what point is your data protected? Because apparently, you're sharing it online. Available na siya ngayon sa buong mundo. Di ba? So, at what point na secured ba yung data mo? Kung titingnan mo sa mga recent or sa mga recent news, there are news that lumalabas na merong breach of security or data sa accounts natin. Accounts ng kunyari ay government agency na breach daw yung data nila, nakuha yung mga personal information ng mga tao. So, kung kaya yan gawin ng people who has intentions, what about AI? Kasi again, AI's library is the digital footprint that we leave in the internet. Diba? So, and ethics, I think this is a good debate for the politicians to at what point do they create laws to protect the data privacy of each of their constituents. Yan yung take ko dyan. Looking ahead, hopes AI for good healthcare, yeah. The good and the bad of AI. For me, the good, productivity, faster information dissemination, faster transfer of data. The downside is, again, data privacy, more lax in the information that we are sharing, we are digesting, I guess. And ang bottom line there is, regardless of what AI's capabilities, if us humans will find a way to use it for bad intentions, then the problem is sa tao pa din, in us humans. So, again, for those na, especially sa mga bata, again, use AI as a tool. As a tool. Don't use it as something that will answer all of your problems. Conclusion, final thoughts. We've seen the world change at a lightning speed. AI is just a next chapter, but it's one we need to write with care. What's your take on drop your thoughts in the camera, in the comments, camera? Yeah, tama to. AI is just the next chapter, but it's one we need to write with care. Ito. So yun lang, yun yung topic natin about AI. Ano yung take ko about AI? Is it good? Is it bad? What do you think? So for those na nakinig until the end, so just leave your comments about AI and what do you think about AI? And then let's discuss. Ano bang purpose or ano bang point ni AI? Ano bang natutulong niya sa ating lipunan? So again, this is your Tito. Tito Chal na ha. This is your Tito Chal. And let's see each other in the next vlog. Peace out.